All right. We are back for another open court discussion live in the Counselor's Corner. I am your host, David Lorenzo Glover, aka the Controversial Counselor. Joining me is my co host, the Big Bad Wolf, Herb Lewis. All right. Like always, we never know who will pop in to join us on the panel. So let's talk about the recap from this past Monday. We discussed the impact of your rites of passage in your life. If you are interested in hearing what went down on that broadcast, check out the Controversial Counselor's YouTube channel and all the clips on YouTube, Facebook, IG, and TikTok. All right, let's shift our focus and energy towards tonight's broadcast, October 30th, pre Halloween. We will discuss the rites of passage from girl to womanhood. We told you we would be coming back with this topic, considering Herb and I gave you the male perspective this past Monday. I know what you are thinking. How can you two speak to this topic if you're not a woman? Well, guess what? We will deliver the message as to what we think the transition is like, and if you don't agree, then maybe you will join us. If not, sit back and shut the hell up. I'm sure we will cover things such as birth, cooking, bonding with moms, beauty, self care, just to name a few. Okay, gang, please like and share our video and subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Controversial Counselor. We hadn't moved the needle. We were still at 753 subs, but two other subs came in, so it's now 755, which in my mind meant no growth, but I guess it was a little minuscule growth. So let's go, folks, now or never. Come on, let's get this thing to 800. Then we could tackle 900, then 1,000. All right, so we're here tonight. Like I said, pre-Halloween. What's going on with you, Big Bad Wolf?
Man, just counting down the days at number 52. Looking to put the final touches on the roof. Couple other things I got coming down the pipe. I'm trying to. I don't know if I really want to talk about this particular thing, so I'll just let it sit on the shelf for a little bit, let it marinate. I'm looking at putting together a chess set, and that's all I'm gonna say. And I'll unveil that probably next year sometime when I get the opportunity. But I got no complaints, man. You know, things are rounded back in the order. It's been a rough year, and I can't wait to burn the calendar on this shit, man, because this it's been a year. It has been a year. That is all I can say. And like I said, I am glad it is over.
Ain't over yet. Over with yet.
Well, no, as far as my birth year,
Oh, okay.
I sent it to her, Dave.
Oh, you sent it to him?
Yeah.
All right. Me, same old, same old. Ain't much cooking. I've been putting off some things. I got a couple classes I got to take, and I've been dreading taking it, but time is going by, and I guess I like my back against the wall, so I need to sign up for these courses and knock them out. It's kind of self-paced, but I think this is my recertification year, and I'm like, damn, I've been in this game long enough. Why the hell I got to keep taking these classes? Oh, when it's every 5 years, but it's still the simple fact I don't feel like doing it. But guess I'm gonna have to, so I can stay certified, because that's one thing they don't be playing around. They be trying to chop you and don't care how long you've been there or whatever the case is. So I'll get it going sooner or later. It's just so many other little things just trying to tackle them, but I know I need to put that on top of my priority list and knock that out. Knock one of them out hopefully by the end of January, then sign up for the other one and knock that out in a month or so or two. So I can make it happen. I just gotta get motivated to do it. Um, what else is? I don't think I have any else. I always have my middle school stories, but I don't got one that's standing out right now. I'm sure something will pop up with this topic, from girl to womanhood. Yeah, that's an interesting subject, and a lot of it has to do with, um, and the same thing with men, with how relationships are. Um, when you think about the rites of passage and some of the things you learned or you were schooled on or things you didn't do, and who were your, people that were in your life that impacted you to make certain decisions. So, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot to it. So we supposedly have the youngest in charge trying to get at us, and we definitely appreciate women's feedback on this because, like I said in my promo, I'm only speaking to what I saw, um, growing up and throughout the years, and just trying to mesh everything together, and we can kind of understand and see how why things are the way they are. Shauna C, it's been a minute.
Hey,
Hey, how you
hey,
doing?
I
What's going on?
know. Nothing much, nothing much. I'm free early tonight, so I
Okay,
was
Uh-huh.
just like,
All right.
I gotta slide through.
appreciate it.
Yep.
So we gonna have you jump in. What's your thoughts about first thing coming to your mind about the rites of passage from girl to womanhood?
I think of menstruation. I think that's the first thing. There's certain signs of puberty that as a little girl in your head you start to feel yourself when you start to get those little boobs and then you get your menstruation, you start to feel a little older and a little grown, a lot growner than you really are, but you start to feel grown. Um, Other than that, I would say, I don't know, I can't think of anything other than for me, I think that and hmm, I don't know, high school, going to high school, that's a big thing. That was a big thing. And maybe babysitting, being responsible for somebody, being a paid babysitter too. You start to feel yourself once you get around 12, 13, 14, and somebody is willing to leave their whole entire child with you and pay you while they leave the house. You start to feel yourself as well, especially if you don't have younger siblings.
Okay,
But those are the things that I think of. Mind you, I have not read or anything about any background on this topic. I literally was like, let me slide through.
okay. Well, now that you say that, and I always have my middle school stories. Yeah, that's what I had to deal with today. Uh, Eighth grader that had cramps and was in my office, didn't want to go to class. Oh, I can't move. I'm like, do you need a wheelchair? Oh, you funny, Mr. Glover. Ain't nobody about to get in a wheelchair or whatever the case is, because you got to get up out of here. You getting on my damn nerves. And the whole time she trying to get a ride home. And one of her other friends came in, and I'm like coughing and hacking. I'm like, yo, you got to go with all that coughing up phlegm. I'm like, you got all that
Oh
COVID juice
my.
in you. And she's like, I don't got COVID. I don't got COVID. So she trying to go home, but the one girl mother shut it down. Said nope. She couldn't pick her up, and her stepdad couldn't pick her up, and she didn't want her to go with the other friend because she thought they probably was trying to scheme up on something. So, needless to say, she was in my office for about a couple hours too long. Too long,
No.
and the stepdad said he couldn't come till like 2:30, and I'm like, damn, school be almost over. So these are the girls that run the beauty salon too in my office. So they just first thing I walk in, they there, and damn, at the end of the day, they damn near there, and in the middle of the day. So I had to deal with that.
I'm gonna liken this to baseball, and I know people are thinking, what the hell does the rites of passage of a young girl in the womanhood have to do with baseball? Glad you asked. Baseball is America's pastime. I don't think anybody's ever going to disagree with that. No matter who you are, no matter where you come from, we all understand the sport and how to play it. Generations ago, the best baseball players weren't men; they were women. Why, you ask? Because they don't play. They play. They just play a different sport. Remember when we were kids? You know, they will always talk about holding hands was first base, kissing was second base, heavy patting was third base, and home run, home run. But everything starts at home plate. Men, young boys, with that bat in your hand. Sometimes you get an unlimited amount of pitches. Sometimes you only get one. And we all were trying to score. All of us. But I'm going to come back to that, and I'm going to start out with something else. I wrote down a list of categories that most people probably won't think of that impacts the rites of passages. More so for females than they do for younger boys.
True.
Location, economics, ethnicity, and this is probably overlooked, their family makeup. And when I talk about their family makeup, I'm speaking a few things, or actually a lot of things. Whether they're in a heterosexual couple, and nowadays a same sex couple, whether they have a single parent home, be it male or female, and what their extended family is, particularly if there are older female relatives. Biological, Shaughnessy mentioned puberty, culture, and the maternal abilities of their mother. That is vital for a lot of reasons that we'll get into later. And education. People, the last two actually go hand in hand because the level of education that the mother has is directly going to impact how that child is raised. And I'll start there. If you have a mother who isn't educated to a certain standard, particularly when it comes to female anatomy, how to maintain cleanliness after a young girl is start to menstruate, she could run into a lot of problems later in life.
Preach. Preach.
Reproduction,
Preach.
cleanliness, all of those things that can impact her dating life. Okay, that's just one way that education could impact her. But I'm gonna go back to something my homegirl Supernova sent me, and she started out early. She said, from the time that a young girl is born to age 7, she should be engaging in self love. Okay, all of those things from the ages of 7, I believe she says 7 to 11 and 12. Young girls should be with their mothers, learning about their anatomy, learning how to keep clean, learning about boys, what attracts them, what don't. A lot of things that young girls deal with, from peer pressure, how their hair is done, what clothes they wear, dresses, all of that has an impact. If you come from a family that's impoverished, you don't get the latest fashion. So you tend to probably play the background because you don't want to get picked on. Because we tend to think boys are tough when it comes to peer pressure. We have nothing on little girls. Little girls are vindictive, backbiting, and there's a pecking order starting at about the sixth, seventh grade. And I'm sure David can attest to that. That's why he has the beauty salon with the girls in there.
Uh,
It is vital to them that they not only look appealing, because we get this in the counselor's corner, we've had this on the platform, that they look good in comparison to each other. And they're not going to tell you, a whole lot of them not going to tell you that they look good enough to attract a prospective mate.
Mm.
Now, there's something else that starts at, she said from 18 to 35, that if, and I stress if they're focused on getting a mate or whether they're not, they need to learn home skills. They need to learn how to cook. They need to understand how to prepare food. Shaughnessy mentioned it. If young girls are going to if young girls are going to start babysitting, they need to understand how to maintain and clean at home. Whether they get married or not, stay single, whatever the case is, nobody wants to live in filth. Okay. Now, culturally speaking, we have especially in the United States of America, we have a lot of people from different cultures who are getting married and producing children, and that's cool. But what happens when those kids don't know about the heritage of both mother and father? So you take a Hispanic kid who might have I'm sorry, I said a Hispanic kid. You take a child who is the product of a black man, Hispanic woman, or whatever the case is, and you take them around a Hispanic family. They're going to expect certain things of that person, and vice versa with the black family. So what happens when that kid doesn't know that culture? They do stuff, they say this and this, and they send the kid off to do something. The kid is confused, lost. That kid can't pass on that information to their offspring. So now we have multiple generations who don't know anything about their culture. They can't pass on anything about their culture. So essentially, their growth is stunted in a way because they don't know anything.
you know why I think that happens? Because more than likely, them two they they never they never had no intentions on, they wasn't in it for everything, trying to learn that person's culture, engulf in it. It was just some jump off type situation. They got together, had a child. Now, my family is my family. Your family is your family. Shit. Hopefully, they probably are never intertwined. And that's where the confusion lies.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes I'll ask a kid, when the last time you been back there? I don't really go back there. Do any of your family from there come here? Well, no, because the passport situations and stuff like that. So it's just one of those situations. You know what I tend to call it? Desperation.
And that's so interesting that you said that because my grandparents is from Trinidad, and literally up until me and my sister moved to Maryland, because of course Maryland doesn't have a midwinter recess. Every February we were in Trinidad for a week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, every February, and my mother didn't go. She just knew that's where not knew that's where we had to go, but of course she wouldn't exclude us from something like that with our father's family. So she would make sure, we were there, we had the money, our hair was done, we were packed, we was ready to go. Um and you're right, people don't think about those considerations even when you guys may be of the same culture. Because again, I always say I was raised Catholic and went to a Baptist church because, again, my mother respected the fact that my father and his family was Catholic. So I did get baptized in a Catholic church. Went to First Holy Communion. I had my confirmation, but I went to church with my mother. So we did all of those things. Um, but it's very interesting because regardless of whether you are, of different heritage and different cultures, I think it's very important. And I don't understand why that's a miss to kind of, I guess if you're not looking for, if you have no intentions on making a baby, then it would be a miss. But I don't know, somebody that doesn't halfway align with me, or I don't know, if you're Muslim, if I can't see me respecting your faith or allowing my child to participate or choose when and at a certain age choose when and what to participate in, why are we even here?
That's true.
Right? Yeah. And that's and it's like you said, you get these one-off situations, where people are just getting together and to use a friendly term, they bumping uglies, and then the child results as a result of that. They don't even sit down and discuss, you know, excuse me, what's important, what's paramount, what needs to be taught, and everything else that comes along with that. So I mean, and I'm not suggesting that people, shouldn't have sex with somebody on the basis, or not have sex with somebody on the basis that they might get pregnant. But there's a responsibility that comes along with that. And this was something else that Star said. She said a lot of young girls don't know their cycles. They don't know if they're operating on a 28-day cycle, 29-day cycle. They don't know when they're most fertile. So all of this stuff starts to come along, with
Well, a
that.
lot of young, let me just intervene on that part. When we have a lot of girls that are 10 and 9 that are coming on a cycle,
Mhm.
until, and don't quote me on this age, but I believe until 13 or 14, your period and your cycle is not regular anyway. So a young girl may have her cycle at 10. She may not see it again until she's 11. She may see it 11 3 times, may see it 12 4 times, may see it 13 once. So there's no way for her to know her cycle yet.
No, I understand that, but that's the point of sitting down and having these discussions with her. So
Right.
when that does come along, she's aware. We
And with
and we
these all
just
these kids, if you having a cycle, 9 times out of 10, you have a phone. Get an app.
well, but this is where we come into the education. Uh, just imagine a mother that doesn't really understand this.
Yeah.
How in the hell is she going to teach her daughter?
Yeah, because it
No
is
way.
situations that girls had no idea that this was coming and wasn't educated on and was horrified. Like,
Mm.
what the hell just happened?
I mean,
That is so
that's
weird.
a. Listen. I can go back to high school. Homegirl used to sit behind me and she would talk about breakthrough bleeding. Breakthrough bleeding. What the fuck are you talking about? And she'd whisper in my. I was like, oh, okay, that's what that means, and things of this nature. But and we've talked about this from a black girl perspective when she was sitting down there with her mother getting her hair done. Those were the times that these conversations took place. But now, because you have a lot of women, particularly black women, who don't do their daughters' hair, they're reaching for something synthetic. That bonding is gone. So where do those conversations take place? Where's that information disseminated? And more importantly, if that information isn't disseminated from the mother, where does she get it from? We talk about on this platform, you know, men and the inability to satisfy a woman sexually. She can't achieve orgasm. Does that young female understand, and when I say young female, I'm talking about a female about 17, 18, that's potentially reaching that age to where she might be sexually active. Does she understand her anatomy fully? Not to achieve orgasm, just to understand her anatomy. So when she starts going to see the OBGYN and the OBGYN says something, she knows what's going on. That's part of that whole moving to become independent. You're not quite still a woman, but you have all the earmarkings. You menstrual cycle, you develop secondary sexual characteristics, and now you start dating. There's another rite of passage, and some of these things are going to be when I mention location. Some of these things are going to be predicated on location because you'll have some people who live in the suburbs. They get access to freedom, especially if they come from a well-to-do family. 17, 18. Guess what they're doing? They're driving a car. So that now that gives them even more range and more freedom. But let's say that we have a young girl who's living with her father, and her father doesn't believe in dating. So now she's restricted. She can't engage in the things that her peers are engaging in. She's held behind. Her development is
Not
delayed.
not necessarily. Cause I ain't
Okay.
gonna lie to y'all, my father was the house that I can get over for. Not because he was lightweight, cause I could swindle him better than I could swindle my mother.
Well, I'm just saying, not everybody has that. Will have that. So I'm speaking of
Yeah,
the
cause I mean, and
the young women who don't have that.
that relationship with fathers. A lot of times you can have your father wrapped around your finger,
Hmm.
and that's something that females do. Whether it's the father or the partner. But I
I,
think that goes in. It can happen with both parents.
mhm.
Where it depends on what the parent puts in place and how busy and how many extracurricular activities the child is in and whether they have the time to actually do and participate in these activities.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's important about keeping young people busy, but also to the point of you still have to let them have some time to themselves. And I know, as time goes on and more research is out there, even for the parents that say, "Oh, I keep my son or daughter in the sport," they go one from one to another, AAU travel stuff. But now that you think about it and you look at it, I don't know if that's working because the body breaks down. The body needs to rest, even at a young age, and that's why you
So what
have.
do you think if it's not necessarily sports? What if you think, I just keep them busy and maybe, during the week you may do basketball at school and outside of the week you may have piano practice or, I have you with me and we could run errands, we could be at my job, we could do whatever.
Yeah,
But
well,
I keep you busy.
yeah, and I mean, and that's a good way to do something other than sports, as long as you keep them busy. But curiosity kills the cat. So if their other friends is out there
yep,
doing this, they're gonna sooner or later be itching to, like, man, I miss out everything. Every time they come back to school, they say they did this on the weekend. They went here. I don't ever get to do shit. And that's when they'll start probably being sneaky, lying, and coming up with stuff
See,
so
I
that
think
they
I
can
was
get that
filled up
in.
with other things. Like I wasn't because I didn't like I knew I was missing things. So it was like, dang, they had fun, they had a kickback, her mother wasn't home, house party, boom, I missed it. But at the same time, that weekend, I might have been in New Orleans. I might have had a long weekend in the Bahamas. I might have been been out and about with my family. We went to the mall, we went to food, dinner, whatever the case may be. And that's why as parents, you don't want to just keep your kid in a house and shelter them. You still want to give them experiences, but experiences that are worth or don't make them feel like they're missing out on too much with their friends and they're still being fulfilled in other ways.
You do know after a while, Shaughnessy, that uh, being with your 12 or 13-year-old friends, and I don't care where you at with your family, you're like, I'd rather be with them. They too old. I want to be around my people. So sooner or later, when
Mm.
kids have the option and say, do you want to go with me? When they used to love to go run to the store with you or whatever the case is, when they get older, they start saying, nah, I'm good. I remember one of
Mm.
our things growing up, it used to be that my mother worked 3 to 11, and my father would, when he lived with us, would take us to go pick her up, and then there was this little, I forgot what it was called. It was by the hospital. Herb might remember, a little ice cream little thing where you could get lemon slushes and all that stuff, and it closed late. So if we went early, we would be able to get that late at night. But then as we started getting older, like, hey, I'm about to pick up your mother. Go ahead. All right, we'll see. We'll see you when you get back. Like those little rewards suddenly don't mean as much.
Yeah.
You rather be around your peers, and that's why I say the influence that the peers have once you get a certain age sometimes trump what the adults put in all that
No,
time
they
to
don't
try
got
to
no money.
instill.
They don't got no money.
Well,
But
let me read Elisa's comment, and it's an excellent comment that touches on a few things.
Hmm.
She said, "Rite of passage for me was when I was able to do my own hair, choose my own clothes. My curfew got extended. I was able to cook a dish for Thanksgiving dinner, be included in certain grown folks' conversation, and when I was allowed to wear makeup, which is another huge thing, it wasn't all about menstruating for me. Um, the physical for me, makeup is a
Those were very good points too.
huge thing for a lot of young girls, and some parents are against it, some are not, and this bleeds over into what Dave was saying in terms of the peer group. Some want to look older, regardless of what people might say, and it's not always about physical. I want people to understand the reason why we focus on the physical is because for women, time becomes compressed, and this is when the discussion about maturity level always pops up because people and the evidence is saying that girls mature faster than boys. I'm not here to have the discussion or the debate or the argument about that. But the time at which they have to get certain things right condenses. So by the time they hit 21, 22, 23, if they're not getting married, they have to get in the world more so than their mothers and grandparents and start to fend for themselves. So now they have to worry about a job, place to stay, possibly transportation, and number one above everything else is their safety. Sometimes I think as guys we tend to overlook that because we just say, look, we live in a relatively, globally speaking, we live in a relatively safe country. For the most part, anybody can walk around any time of the night and not necessarily have to worry about that. Well, it's easier said than done because females always have that in the back of their head, no matter what the situation is. I can't tell you how often I go to deliver something in a hotel room and the door is locked like it's Fort Knox. I'm thinking, very seldomly, if ever, do random people break into hotel rooms. Just doesn't happen. But it's easy for me to say that as a guy because I'm not worried about it. You come in my room, you better have something with you. Women don't think like that. Understandable. It's that whole situation where, regardless of what's going on around them, they could be surrounded by police officers and they still might feel unsafe. It's just the nature of the beast. So another thing that I thought about is sharing rooms. I didn't have my own room until I actually got an apartment at 27. For a lot of girls, that could be another step in the direction of maturity because now you get your own space, you get to decorate how you want to, nobody says anything to you. That's another step for freedom. Go Go ahead,
Oh,
Dave.
I had a thought that came across my mind, and I do want Anita to come in and add her feedback. Yeah, I still, and if my mother listening, I still have some concerns on how the hell my sister, who was the youngest, had a phone in her damn room and we didn't have one. And we used to have to, if we didn't talk on the phone in the kitchen, which didn't go too far, you'd have to be on some counter all night trying to boo love or talk whatever back in the days. She had to
Boys ain't supposed to be running their mouth all night.
hold up. Let me finish. She had the pink Pioneer phone with the bells and whatever that shit used to be rattling, and you couldn't touch it. If she came there and you was like, get out my room, get out my room. Why y'all in my room? Listen, I'm just on the phone like, yo, chill out, whatever. No, get out my room. Um, uh, I don't understand how that even happened. I should have had a damn phone as the oldest, but I don't know how that
Sounds
worked.
like hate.
Maybe it is. Maybe it's hate and bitterness. Anita, what's going on?
Hey, I'm here.
You here?
I'm
Okay,
here.
liven up, liven up.
I'm here.
Oh, my mother, and she said, why? Not understanding that. Yeah, I want to know why that was the case.
Cause she said so.
Nah, it didn't. It shouldn't have worked like that. I've been angry about that for years, and I'm gonna get this out. This is therapeutic too.
Black
That
Ram.
is hilarious.
Yeah, but I
Um,
mean, go ahead. Honestly, Anita.
I was just saying that that room thing was definitely a thing for my sister and I, because there was always another room, but we just always shared rooms. Um, and we went through different stages too, because at one point we had bunk beds. Then we got our own separate, like our double twin beds, and we thought we were the ish when we got out of bunk beds. And then my sister, she was just like, I want my own room. And then literally like within the week, my mother made the extra room her room, and I was just like, oh well, okay. So that was a thing for her when she got to no, it was eighth grade, I think. When she got to did her when we were in eighth grade, she went in her own separate room. Even though we were always in each other's room. But yeah.
So my mother said you had your brothers. She was the only girl. That's what
Oh,
you going
see,
with? I'm
that
still
makes
not checking
sense.
for that. I'm still not
That makes
checking for that.
sense. That
Still not
makes a
checking
lot
for
of
that.
sense.
No, because I'm 4 years older than her. So if I'm 15, 16,
She
she like
needed other
10
girls
or
to talk
11.
to. She
I
needed
don't
other
know.
girls to talk to.
I was at the rites of passage that I wanted to talk on the phone. I was actually dating, whatever, and I didn't have no privacy, which was
See,
important.
if you was nice to your sister, you could have swindled her into letting you borrow her room for a few minutes so you could be on her phone. But you wasn't nice
Ownership.
to her. You were so busy being the older brother and being making
Ownership.
her miserable.
Yeah, and
Ownership.
that's true. Then we had cordless phones, so you had a little bit of mobility around
Mm-hmm.
the house, whatever. But of course, some people wouldn't put it on the charger, and then the shit'll go dead, and you back to square one again.
Oh my
So,
gosh, that's
man, that's
hilarious.
how it was back in the days, folks.
Ownership is another aspect of this. Like you were saying, Shaughnessy. You and your sister got out of bunk beds. You got your own beds. Ownership for young girls is the quintessential thing.
And I would say
That's what
even
we.
for women, my first car
Mhm,
that I
mhm.
financed is still parked in my parking, and I do want to get it fixed. But I ain't letting there's so many people that ask me to buy that car, and I'm not selling it. I'm not.
Ownership. Ownership.
That's the first thing that I've like purchased and bought completely. So it's mine to stay.
Kind of car is it, Shaughnessy?
2010 Maxima.
Okay.
I
Oh,
got it
okay. All
brand
right.
new.
Okay.
So
Okay.
right after right after I had my son, right before I had my son, um, I got a new car. So I had that. I paid that off. Ended up paying it off right before I had Layla. and I just never, I can't let it go.
So
And it don't be
I'm sure your son, like, yo, he about ready to take that.
my kids are so bougie. When he was younger, he was saying that he wanted that to be his first car, and now he's sending me Dodge Chargers and stuff, and he's 13. So
uh,
I told him he already know you gotta do something good. Your first car depends on you and your behaviors.
But that's what we talked about with the economic component. Now, just imagine if you were a single mother and you were living in community housing.
Hmm.
Think your son would be talking about that, and we still haven't even touched on the electronic component. That
What do you mean talking about? Oh, like I mean, he still got. I don't know where he get a charger from. Where he get that?
but
I don't know.
that's go ahead.
I think he knows, and I've always discussed. What you get is really dependent on how you do. I have to feed you, and I have to clothe you. Everything else is extra, and how much extra I do is how much extra you do.
Yeah, but that's my point. You're in the position to do that. Now, just imagine
Not
if
necessarily.
you're.
I
Let me
can't.
put it
I
to
ain't
you like
trying to
this.
afford no.
No, no, no. It's not whether you want to.
Uh huh.
Just imagine. Let's put it like this. Let me take your degree away in the job that you have, and let me put you at McDonald's.
Okay, I
Do
got you.
you do you think those conversations would be being had?
Right, because it's not even a possibility.
Right.
That makes
The
sense.
the and that's what I mean by we. I mentioned economics and location. If you take a young girl in New York City, she's not thinking about a car.
Yeah,
Public
definitely wasn't
transportation
thinking the car. Right.
all, all over the place. A driver's license is a rite of passage, but coming from New York City, because when I went to Bus State, all the heads coming up from New York City didn't have a driver's license. We said, how the hell don't you
For
have a
what?
driver's license?
Yeah.
talk about
Didn't need it.
driver's license with that old
Yeah,
ass lady who was teaching me how to drive. I don't want
yeah,
to talk about
didn't
that.
need it. So I mean, there's a lot of rites of passages that a lot of people aren't going to
Yeah,
have
it
just
is
simply because
location. That makes sense. Yeah.
Look,
just because of where they live. So
Yeah.
just imagine if, and matter of fact, I'm gonna mention the movie Clueless with uh I can't remember the actress's
Stacy
name,
Dash.
Stacey Dash,
Who
and
else?
the other Caucasian female. I can't remember her name right now. Just
Alicia
imagine,
Silverstone.
yes, thank you. Just imagine putting a girl in that mix who comes from a family that's middle income. She's gonna catch hell. She's not gonna fit in. She's gonna be ostracized, and everything that she thinks she may have accomplished, they're gonna be like, "Look, we were doing that 6 years ago. We were doing this X years ago." So it puts
Yeah.
an unnecessary undue pressure on her to fit in, and this is where we get into issues with regards to sexting. You got boys that might be applying pressure to her. Who does she talk to? Especially if
But
her
just
mother
like
doesn't.
someone else said earlier, that's where you skip that self love part, and that conversation where you have conversations with your kids and your daughters, and let them know that these things are gonna happen, and this is what the little boys do.
I still want to go back to that driving part because now that I think about it, and from the area that we grew up in, we was freaking Melvins. We was freaking Melvins growing up because mostly it was girls that had cars
Yeah.
that would come get you, would go out. They drove everywhere.
Mhm.
And I remember in my earlier dating years, the girls I dated, they had cars. I ain't had shit.
Oh,
And they would come pick me up. We would hang out. And, every so often, they may let you drive, but it was kind of against their parents. Like, yo, don't let no boy drive your car or whatever the case is.
yeah, because I
So,
wish my daughter would.
so I didn't even want to kind of dispute that because I knew like I kind of was slacked up on the driving process, and I wouldn't want to be driving somebody else's car that's probably in the mother or father name, and something happened. So I played the back, but most of the time we was freaking Melvins. Women came to pick, well, girls, young ladies came to pick us up. That that was a luxury, and the girls who had the cars, they had more choices and more options.
Mhm.
Yeah, especially the ones on the college campuses.
Yeah, I didn't get my driver's license till I was 21. But the funny thing about that was
I
I
snagged
had
that thing up at 15 and 9 months.
yeah, I was driving for about a year on a permit. I know I had my car, had it insured and everything through my brother, and I was back and forth to campus, before I got my before I got my driver's license. Never got in any trouble, and I think I was blessed at that particular point because I did a lot of highway driving. Um, you know, not extensively to the point where I'm driving, between states. You know, to get from Niagara Falls to Bluff State is pretty much a straight shot down to 190. Um, but I seen a lot of people get popped for speed on that stretch, so I was always mindful to seat belt, this, that, pay attention, hands 10 and 2. So I never got a ticket, never got caught. Yeah. So I mean, but like David said, at that particular point in time, it was just the way things were. You didn't have that. So if you caught a female who was who had that transportation, you played your cards right because you, you wanted to be going certain times.
And that probably determined a lot of decisions where guys is like, okay, this is a girl from the neighborhood that you like, whatever. Y'all grew up playing around each other, but then you got this one who pulling up in a vehicle, and you're like, man, I like her.
So
Shit,
y'all
we
was
can't do
picking
that.
girls based
Because
on
you
whether they
guys
had a
have
car or
because they
not?
had a car. Right.
That could be the case. That could be the
Ooh,
case. Whatever.
Mm.
Yeah, you had to get around. You had to get around. What
what?
am I gonna
Get
do?
a
So what
job and
if
earn a hoopty.
Huh?
what if
Get a
what if
job and get a hoopty.
now did
You
you pick
couldn't you
girls
couldn't do that
based
in high
on
school.
Yes, you could.
did you get a job in high
Listen to what
school?
I'm saying. You couldn't do that in high school.
What do you
Couldn't do
mean?
what?
Who are you going to get the car insured by?
Your
Your
parents.
parents.
My mother didn't drive.
She could still
Somebody.
get insurance in her name, right?
What do you think insurance is going to cost?
Ain't it high for boys anyway?
That's not what I asked. You said get it insured through my mother. I said my mother didn't drive.
Um,
Somebody in
Insurance
the
is high for
family.
anybody in the risk pool. It doesn't matter.
so nobody in your family could just get the car and put it. Well, I guess.
Now you already know some families don't roll like that.
Thank
Uh,
you.
so you kind of limit it. So again, do I do I get with this young lady, or do I get someone that say, okay, we can go to the mall,
Hmm.
we can even go to Buffalo, we can go such and such.
Now,
This
did
is
you
my
pick them on
car.
the kind of car they had? So like let's say you had two girls that had a car. If one had, just the old family car, then one got her, used car, but she picked this one out. You
Now
choosing that way too?
no, if they had a car, it was a car. I didn't look at it.
Oh, okay,
I didn't
okay.
decipher like that because they would all start up. They might all started out with like older cars, and then because I remember at the time, I hate to be telling stuff, and hopefully they ain't listening. But I had two young ladies. They both when those Geo trackers came out.
Oh boy, man.
So
Psychic.
so I had the luxury of that. So it didn't really. It didn't really matter. But that's that. I'm on hush.
Yeah, and see
I'm
the
weak.
thing that y'all don't understand that David and I probably do more so than you guys do is that if she had a car, more than likely she was putting out.
No
What?
way. No way.
More than
I ain't
likely,
no.
more than like. Hey, you
Nope.
ain't got to listen to
I
me.
don't
Cause
believe
me and
that.
my little homegirls, we all had cars. We was over east with the drug dealers and all that, and we wasn't doing nothing.
You're
Mm.
talking about today. We're talking about a generation ago.
So like, cause they had cars, they was
Hold
giving
on.
it up.
I
No,
was
I
a
said it's more.
generation ago. I don't. I don't.
I said
I
more.
don't co-sign with that. I
I
don't.
said more
Mm-mm.
than. Think about this. When I mentioned the term freaknik, what do you think about?
I don't know. Freaks.
Go back and look up freaknik,
What
and
you
that's
think? A
all
whole
I'm going.
bunch of younger girls was there. I don't know.
What do you why do you think there was such consternation about the release of that
I feel like the
freaknik
girls that
movie?
had cars in my head, this is what I'm thinking. And
Hmm.
what I remember, the girls that had cars early on were the more responsible ones. The ones that were
Okay,
doing what they were supposed to do when we were in high school.
okay.
But I guess that don't mean they wasn't fucking.
There you go.
So I guess
But wait a minute. My
Go ahead.
friends weren't. They had cars.
that's
How
what
Like
the
I'm
hell
saying.
you? How
I
the
Like,
didn't.
hell you
I
know
didn't
what they
get
were
a
doing,
car
Anita?
How do you
until.
know?
because we were always together. We would ride 7 cars deep to Panera. They didn't have nowhere to go.
No, we're
And
talking about it. We're talking to Anita. How do you
My
know, Anita?
what?
How do you know?
How do I? Because we all talk.
Mm,
There are no secrets.
that's what
Yeah,
y'all
okay.
still going with that code thing, no secrets and all that. Y'all better wake up. Wake up.
When you have you okay, so most of my friends had cars, and I was in a lot of different social circles, so it didn't matter. Somebody had a car. A lot of
Mhm.
girls, my 16, 17, they had cars. They weren't doing it in their car. Is that what you
Uh,
guys are insinuating?
you don't think that was an option? I don't
okay,
know
I
what
can
y'all been
see
watching.
now. I
Y'all
can
delirious.
see now. I can
Y'all
see what you're
delusional.
getting at because these girls had cars. Now they got a place to fuck. Now I do get that. That's starting to make sense. I get that correlation.
I get that correlation too, but
Once you say but, you don't get it.
no, no,
Yes,
no, 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 no.
negating it.
That's not true. I understand the concept. What I'm saying is it's not always true.
Well, we go there. We
Back
go with the
in,
absolutes. We
hold
know that's
on. I'm not done talking. I'm not saying absolutes here. I'm saying back in my day, my social circles, just because they had a car didn't necessarily mean they were doing it in the car or doing it at all. So I ain't much younger than you guys.
Let me
So
put it to you like this, Anita.
hold
I
on. Me
Okay,
personally, I didn't have a car.
okay.
Even though I always had a job, like babysitting, I was always like grinding for my money, babysitting, bussing tables at Macri's Palace and Fortuna's, working at Super Duper, working at Jubilee, Macri's Palace, or yeah, Macri's, whatever it was called. But my friends had cars, so I didn't really need a car. And all the guys I
Mhm,
dated had cars, so
mhm.
I was like, what do I need a car for? And plus, back in the day, we all rode bicycles and it was a lot safer to walk
see.
from place to place.
You, you already said something, key. You said your friends had cars. You said you didn't have a car. You said, but the guys you dated had cars. We did not have cars.
I heard that.
like that. And unless the guys our age that had cars, they sold dope.
Yeah.
Most of them.
Mhm.
Out of 10, maybe one or two, they had a good upbringing. They had two parent homes and their families. Parents made good money, and then they had cars. And we recognized who those guys were. They would come through, but they were probably considered like social misfits.
I
Yeah.
They
mean,
would have a car, but they would come up on a few girls here and there. But these girls would say they're really not their cup of tea because they rather went for someone that had more that street cred to them. Because once those guys probably lived out in the suburbs or on the outskirts of Niagara Falls in the Wheatfield area or whatever, and they would come into town and they would have cars. And they would catch a few, but it probably was short lived. But many of the guys didn't have cars. So, and these women, they had jobs too, whatever. Not women, these young ladies. And they wasn't afraid to, hey, we going somewhere. I bought you this shirt. I got you this, whatever. Can you wear this? It was crazy. It was crazy. Now my mother probably listening and like, who the hell bought you this? Who the hell bought? But mind your business. but that's how it was. That's just how it was.
And we're here to tell you, especially
I'm
if
so
you.
surprised by what you just said because I mean, I was always nice to my boyfriends, but I wasn't like going out of my way to buy them stuff. Like they always put me on a pedestal and like treated me like I was all that in a glass of Perrier Jouet.
See, and one of the things is, Anita, also competition. Like, if you didn't have, and these girls had, they're going to make sure. Like, if we go in here, your ass going to look decent.
Yeah.
You're going to look decent. And we going to look the best. We gonna look to be the best looking couple out there. That was their kind of mindset. So they want to make sure. Now, that ain't always happen with me. Like, I would always, I have family that stuck together resources, but so I already had like stuff like minus the car. Uh, but for other guys, I knew that was the
I remember the
situation.
opposite. I remember it being like the girls that had a car, they would have the guy with no car, but they had the money.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
I had the
Hmm.
guys with the car and the money.
It
Yeah, I
would
don't.
I wasn't missing
sometimes it
out.
would be if you're talking about guys that were also our age, it would definitely be the guys because of course they were the inner city guys. So they would have the money, you have the car. So now that you have the car, now we going everywhere, but we going everywhere on your dime.
Mm, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. But even for in Niagara Falls, which is a small area, most of the younger guys they had cars. The ones who had money,
Right.
they got cars. Even at a young age, they had cars, which led them even at a younger age. They would get older girls that were like probably 3 4 years older than them, and hey, we had one of them on here interviewing about a month ago. Hey, he did his thing in Niagara Falls.
Mhm.
Shout out to
Oh,
Fonz.
Yeah, I mean, and
Alfonso,
Carter. Yeah.
Fonz, yeah.
Um, hey, look, to be neat and discreet about this, survey your friends, Anita, and find out when they lost their virginity, what age, not how, not where, just what age, and I'm sure you'll be thoroughly surprised at the responses you'll get.
I would say average is about 15 or 16. Don't me. I'm making
I'm
a
gonna call you from
comment.
the bottom. I'm gonna call you from the bottom of the stairs. What you mean? Don't at you?
Just like I call you from the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah. Yep, see, exactly. Yeah, them chicks were putting out. And we here to tell y'all. I don't mind being called from the bottom of the stairs. That means you want something. And I'm the type of person that delivers, but we can leave that alone for right now. But but,
What
but
did I miss? What did I miss?
I don't know because I'm not lost and I'm lost, but you know what? We're gonna talk about this
Hmm.
passage to womanhood.
oh no,
Um
we there.
I
But
would
that's
say
what we said.
another
They
one
were putting out.
if we talk
Go ahead.
about stages too, I guess
Mhm.
when you move in with a significant other,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I would
yeah.
say that would be for both male and female too. Um so we got the cars out the way, especially parenthood.
What else
Um
did y'all go over? So we got cars, we got parenthood,
we talk about menstruation, we talk about makeup,
periods.
babysitting.
We got
Um
sleepovers the first time that
oh
we got to
yeah,
have a slumber
sleepovers.
party and sleep over somebody's house. That was
Mm,
like a big deal.
Now
I
that's
had
see that's
Yeah.
some
yeah. Go ahead.
go ahead. I had so many cousins and stuff, so we did that stuff often. So I don't remember it being. I could see that because that's when you pay the truth or dares and all that other stuff. So I can
Mhm.
see that.
I was always the quiet one amongst my friends. And I remember one slumber party. I'm sure my friends aren't watching this. Um, you pack like a little overnight bag because you always want to have clean panties. So they took my clean panties, put them in water, and put them in the freezer. So I didn't have no clean panties in them. I was so upset. I was
You
like,
Wow.
must have been the first one to fall asleep. That's
probably.
the that's something that
Yeah.
happened to the first one to fall
I
asleep.
was
Frozen
so
draws.
I cried. And then on another sleepover, another thing for girls is the birds and the bees talk. Did you guys discuss that?
We kind of hinted on
Kind
around
of.
that whatever about
Well,
certain things.
it's not always comfortable for a mother to talk about it with her daughter because if they didn't have that way of upbringing, like if they didn't have that formal talk or they didn't know how to approach it or whatever, or you didn't have that kind of relationship with your mom, then it was kind of difficult. Like it was difficult for me to talk to my mom about my first period. I felt so ashamed for some reason that I felt so dirty and ashamed that I got it at school and it was a
Now, did your
horrible.
mother talk to you about it before you got it?
I mean, not really.
Okay, so that okay.
I mean, I knew it was a fact of life, but it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't something that like we didn't openly talk about sex. We're a very conservative family, you know.
Mm.
And so one of my girlfriends, we had a sleepover at her house one day, like one night, and her mom is very open about the whole sex and dating and we all got on her bed and it was about four of us, three or four, and she said, you know, I want you guys to get real information, not get it from, whatever, and they don't know what they're talking about. So she was like, yeah, just ask me, what are you curious about? And, she would be upfront. And so the question came up. Um, I don't even, I just say it like the question came up, what is a BJ? Like the actual initials BJ. Like I didn't know. I was like, what are you guys talking about? Like, so
Bruce
she,
Jenner.
huh?
Bruce Jenner.
Yeah, Bruce Jenner. Yeah. Like I didn't know any. I was so, I guess, naive and just like my innocence. I was like, I don't have no idea. So yeah, that's how I got introduced mainly to the facts of life talk, like upfront about it. That was interesting sleepover.
And one of the things, even for guys, I don't know if I ever had that conversation, and I think that's what we talked about, and I got had clips going on about it on the past show that if you don't get taught by your parents, then you learn it from the streets or your friends. Them fools don't know shit. Your friends, they don't know shit. They be making up stuff.
I
I
remember
got
this
I
boy
got
said that.
hoodwinked. I got hoodwinked.
I had no clue
I
what
remember this boy
the
said
acronym
Vaseline was a
DJ meant.
condom.
I had no clue what it was.
This boy
Vaseline was
definitely
the
told
condom.
he wasn't telling us. Yeah, yep. He was like, if you put Vaseline on, it's the same as have as a condom. And he like convinced all these little boys. We was outside playing. I will never forget this. And I'm not gonna say who it is because two of these people, one person is real famous and one person a little bit famous. They convinced a group of boys that was the truth and some girls that was the truth.
What was the truth?
Oh,
That
wow.
Vaseline was the same thing as a condom. So if you ain't have enough money to get a condom, or if you couldn't get it from your uncle,
God
cousin, whatever,
damn.
you could just put Vaseline on there.
And then like I also heard like back in the day, like saran wrap was the
Oh
same. I'm
my
like, ew,
god!
that's just gross. Saran wrap, a Ziploc bag. I'm like, that just doesn't even
Gotta be kidding
sound
me.
right.
People just make up stuff. That's crazy.
The first time I ever heard something like that was in the movie Booty Call. And when I saw something, what the hell is this nonsense?
Mm-mm-mm.
But that's why I mentioned education earlier in the broadcast, because if you don't know, you don't know. And if you have a parent that, you know, they might be prim and proper, don't think it's the time or whatever the case, or they may not even say anything at all. They might leave you in the dark. So you end up in the situation that Anita ended up in, and you have somebody else's mother teaching you about that. And this is a thing that at least in the Niagara
And
Falls
there's no
schools.
telling, yeah, and there's no telling if that parent is correct because just like a lot of
Mhm.
girls and females grew up douching and doing all of this wild stuff, and it was just like, no, like I've grown up and I've had girls that say, "Girl, you don't douche after your cycle." Oh my god, that's so nasty, and it's like, no, I don't actually. And come to find out, as you get older, that was something to me. It wasn't necessarily a ill thing, it was just something that I never was taught and I just didn't do. But then as you get older, you find out, hell no, you ain't supposed to be doing that.
It ruins your pH.
Right. But these are things that they were taught the opposite because that's what their mother and their grandmother did and was
Because
told.
there was a whole bunch of commercials about Massengill on TV.
Right.
Also, I'm gonna throw a little dart in this. Also, a rites of passage that I don't even know if it's a correct rites of passage, but some mothers had daughters and they relished for their daughters' friends to come over, and they took advantage of those boys.
What?
Think about it. I said some mothers had daughters, and they relished the opportunity for their daughters' guy friends to come over, and they took advantage of those boys.
Yeah, that's just nuts. That person was sick.
Hey,
Those
That
people are
happened.
sick.
Those things happen. That was rites of passage for me as a youngster when I lived on the street and we kind of stayed on our boundaries. I mean, we went around, but a couple of my friends like, man, you need to get off your street. You don't know what's going over on the next street. Man, we was feeling and touching and grinding on such and such mother. What? And I'm like, oh,
Dang, all of them?
Oh my goodness.
just two, three, whatever. And
I hope she in jail.
no, they're not in jail. Never went to jail. And because boys don't really never reported it, they talked to their friends about it, and that was that. It was left there.
yeah.
That is
Oh my
disgusting.
goodness.
A
And
disgusting shame.
the whole R. Kelly thing. No, you mean he's in jail, but nobody talks about why he is how he is, or
Right.
why he
And
was
the
how.
what he sustained.
Hmm. So I mean, these, you know, we talk about these things um in a almost quasi cavalier situation, but this stuff is, for a lot of people, it's a it's an unfortunate reality that they're stuck with. For some people, they come from an alcoholic family. Getting out is a rite of passage. They no longer have to live with an abusive parent.
Speaking
Forgive.
of rites of passage, being able to taste the adult drinks. There
I
was a
mean,
point
all.
where it wasn't like we was taking shots, but it was like, can I have some? And it's like, girl, get out my face, girl, get out my face. Then it came a time where it's like, here, taste a little bit, and you like, never mind.
Well, and this goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the young girls with cars. Boone's Farms. Um, the other one I can't remember right off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
Mad
Olives and
Dog.
James, the wine coolers, all of
Yeah,
it. Kelvin
those,
cooler, all of it.
Mad
like you
Dog.
said, honestly, those are the rites of passage. And if you got away from your parents, especially as a young girl, boys are trying to ply you with that stuff. So,
Oh, see, no, that was for me. That was around in the family setting, is where
but that's what we're talking about with the see when we talk about cars for all Americans is a source of freedom, but for a
right.
teen girl, it's really a source of freedom. That's why I said little is known about them they're putting out. Now, they may not have been putting out because they wanted to put out. They may have been put out. They may have been putting out because they were a little bit intoxicated and they were under
Mm.
some peer pressure, or they really liked this guy and they didn't want to lose him. So they thought that the friends was doing it because somebody said Vaseline does this and this and that. And next thing you know, home run. Slid in the home plate. I used the baseball analogy earlier. I said I would come back to it.
Oh, I know another female rite of passage is shaving our. Well, I guess it's not for
Okay, yeah.
every family, but shaving our
Hair
armpits and our
removal.
legs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, my mom
Yes, because
yelled.
girls, oh yeah, I think most girls go through that awkward stage where sometimes their parents are like, "No, you're not shaving." Then finally, they like, "All right, let's get this done."
I just did it on my own when I was like in fourth grade. Like,
Damn.
who does that when
Ah.
you're in fourth grade? I was experimenting, and I didn't tell my mom until that first time I experimented, I nicked my shin and there was blood all over the place. And my mom was like, "What are you doing? What are you
At
doing
that
that
point,
See,
you
I
had
don't.
no
I
choice.
wasn't shaving my legs initially, but I do remember when I first started. Well, it wasn't even when I first started shaving. When we first started shaving, my mother was coming into the bathroom and like, "Call me when you're ready," and she would shave our underarm, and then that would be it.
Yeah, my mom didn't do all that.
Mm.
After that, she was like, "Well, you're gonna do it if you want to do it. You want to cut yourself up? Go ahead." I mean, I already did it, so
Mm.
I guess it wasn't that big of a deal. But I learned from
Oh,
that.
since we're talking about that, tampons too, being able to use or tampons being purchased for you. Because I don't, that wasn't initially a thing. We couldn't just off rip because you had your cycle. You could use tampons.
Yeah, I never used tampons. I just
Okay.
couldn't. I couldn't fathom something being stuck up in me like like
You
a
can. You have some other stuff stuck up in you.
Damn!
that stuff I didn't mind obviously when I got to that level. But before I got to that level, I wasn't at that level. And yeah, I still to this day don't like them. I don't know.
Mhm.
They're just not my thing.
Yeah, everything is not for everybody because I have
Mm-mm.
my means of stuff where my friends are like, "What?" Because I don't use applicators, and people be like, "Girl, what you mean, girl? They out there, they have them, but everything's not for everybody."
Yeah.
Hey,
That
guys want to know about women's rite of passage, right?
right.
Here we go.
Well, we ain't shying
Um,
away from it. I'm just taking it all in.
I'm trying to think what else. Definitely doing your own hair, being able to use the flat irons by yourself, being able to go to the beauty salon or the nail salon by yourself. Those
for
are things.
light skinned females, it was going to the tanning salon
Okay,
because you had to
makes
be like, I
sense.
think 8 or 16. I think you had to be back in the day. I don't know what it is now, but
Mm.
I know it was 16.
To go tan it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, most of the people I ever grew up with just tanned in their backyards, or when they went on spring break, someone come back summer. Oh, don't touch me.
No, like the
Well,
spray tan
that
kind of thing.
Oh,
I don't think spray tan was around back in my day when I was
Oh,
in
okay.
high school. I was in high school in the 90s. So I
So it's
don't
the
think,
bed, tan in
yeah,
bed. Okay.
it was the bad. But really, like, who has time to lay in the backyard when you're busy riding your bike, playing sports, going with your boyfriend on dates, hanging out with your friends? Not only that, but there's special occasions like homecoming, prom.
So I have a question for you for that. So because different things we have like the self love thing and a self esteem thing. Girls that are white or Caucasian or lighter that do optical tan is it sometimes a topic of conversation with them being unhappy with their skin color in a
No,
bad way? Okay,
no. I mean, not that me. I mean, when things become normalized, like,
right.
getting weave or whatever. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's not anything like,
Because even with weaves, just like that's the perfect example. Like with some African Americans or in some social groups, they're like, "Oh, she wears weave. She don't love herself. She doesn't love her real hair." When it's like, no, that's just my preference. And I was just wondering if it's the same like for the girls that do get tan versus the girls that don't get tan.
I mean, I'm sure you've seen some like orange Donald Trump looking women,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's a little bit too much, and yeah, we do kind of make fun of those kind of women.
okay,
But I mean, just to like me, I'm usually a nice color, but in the when I don't, I mean, I haven't been out in the sun, playing whatever, so I tend to feel pale in the wintertime, and I feel like sometimes one of my friends will be like, "Are you okay? You look pale today." I'm like, "I'm fine. I just haven't been out in the sun." you know. So I don't know. It's not like, I guess it's a personal preference. If
okay.
I know some light skinned like mixed females that go tanning too, which I thought
Hmm.
was
yeah, I've heard of that.
a little
Which
bit
blew my
odd,
mind when I was like, "Why the hell would you do that?" Because I'm
huh?
dark enough. I've heard that before, and it blew my mind. I'm thinking, why in the world would you do it? I'm not dark
Mm.
enough. I want to be darker. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, it's not like I mean, I guess before, like when I was in high school, it used to be like you get all prettied up and stuff, and it used to be exciting and relaxing, like a little prissy thing. I go get my nails done and, get my hair cut and colored and go tanning. And now I don't even like going to get my nails done because I do not like sitting there. I don't like looking at other people's feet, listening to them speak Vietnamese. It just irritates me now.
Yeah, that would be annoying and gross looking at other people's feet because most
Mhm.
people's feet is
I mean, I have pretty feet.
okay,
Here we
okay,
go with my feet story.
okay.
But no, really, like things like that, like tanning, getting our nails done, especially for special events, homecoming, prom, Valentine's Day dances, whatever. I mean, that kind of stuff is used to be fun. Now it's like a big chore. Like I went to this masquerade ball. I mean, I was just like, really, I got to do all this. I'm a little bit feel too old to be getting all doing all this.
A
I
lot of
agree, because
stuff
one
is
thing,
extra.
yeah, I was just about to say, I thought I was being slick locking my hair. That's become the the worst thing I hate to do. The favorite thing I hate to do is going to get my hair done.
Oh,
I
but
sit under the dryer for hours, for
yeah,
forever.
when
I
I
will
was in
always opt out.
when I was in Korea, I had some fake hair and they did my braids and it was cute. I had it parted on the side and I had my braids all like that and my hair was long. And it was so much easier like that especially when we went to the field in the army. And them Koreans in Korea, they know how to do it right. I haven't found anybody around here that knows what they're doing.
I
With
see
that.
someone said first bra, which yeah, true,
Oh yeah,
definitely. First bra. I remember me and my sister in the house stuffing our first bra, and then we realized it looked way too awkward. So we was like, yeah, no, we're not gonna do that. I'm not gonna go with that look. It looked crazy.
Oh
okay.
my god!
How
Y'all
about
must been watching.
the first pair of thongs and the first pair of Victorian Secret panties and bras? Okay,
So I grew up in the pink where pink was new. So and I did not when I was younger, I did not like thongs. So that wasn't a thing really younger. And because we grew up with pink and stuff like that, we were always in Victoria's Secret and always had Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, back in my day, it was like, oh, girl, you. My boyfriend and his mom took me to Victoria's Secret to buy my first set of Victoria's Secret.
What? The boy and his mother?
Yeah.
Well,
Wait. What in the grooming is going on here?
It wasn't like that. It wasn't a pair of thongs. It was just like a
what
cute.
was it? Walmart panties in the pack.
No,
No, I don't think Victoria's Secret
we were
sells panties in a pack.
we were at the Boulevard Mall, and I think it was the Boulevard Mall, and he was like, "Mom, can you give me money so I can buy her some Victoria's Secret or something like that?" And so we went in there, and
That's
I
crazy.
was like embarrassed because I never had anything like cute but sexy but not promiscuous looking. I mean, I didn't get anything like promiscuous looking then, but I just had regular old Kmart panties. I didn't care. And then he was like, yeah. So that was an experience. It was just something cute and
So
dainty.
did he see that? Was he able to take the Victoria's Secrets off?
Oh, he sure did.
See, that's the problem. What in the
Well,
grooming?
damn.
I mean,
See?
at that point I was like what, almost 17, and I lived with him and his family, so wasn't no secret that we weren't, you know.
What?
So,
Okay, that's different.
so what y'all shared a room together?
I mean, we weren't really supposed to be sleeping in his room together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Okay,
mean,
next.
if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it like on wherever we do it. I mean, and his backyard was, you know, he had a nice property. His family had a
So
nice
it went down in
property,
the
and it was like
backyard too.
the backyard was nice. It was landscaped, and the golf course. We had the whole golf course out there. So if we were gonna do it, we could do it in the rain on the golf course.
Man,
That was
Nita,
fun.
just putting in that work.
I'm just saying, when you're in, late
I
stage
mean,
in high school, you like to experiment and, be a little risque.
it's all relevant. It's all relevant information. Dealing with the rites of passage. Different things. Even when you get got to college and stuff. And like Shaughnessy mentioned, living together, getting your first apartment together. It's so many things. There's so many layers to this. It just depends on how you. And most of the time, you don't even think about it. Uh, Unless it's something brought up throughout conversation over the years. But most of the time, you don't even think about half of this stuff. But then once you start talking about it, you start thinking like, "Damn, it was like that," or "Damn, this did happen," or whatever the case is. Because I could tell a story even far as for us boys, far as having your first drink. Well, my mother mindset was, if y'all gonna drink, I prefer y'all to do it around the house where
Right?
it could be supervised or
Mm,
whatever the case is. But why did she say that? Because it ended up being that when we knew it was a party coming up, uh, say for
Y'all
example,
pinch off a little lick.
no, we would go and we would get 6 packs, and she had 3 sons, and then we all had 2 or 3 homeboys. So it would the refrigerator would just be loaded with beer, uh,
Oh,
and
okay,
stuff like
okay.
that, like keeping it cold or chilled to the party time. And we clearly took advantage.
Gotcha.
That's not what she meant, but we clearly took
Right,
advantage
right.
of that situation, and it was just one of those, rites of passage. Like, okay, do I
Yeah,
want
cause
them
we
out there wilding out, or do I
right.
rather for them to be around that I
But
can see and tell them like, okay, buddy, y'all need to put that down. You
but that's a
clearly,
good thing.
yeah,
Yeah, cause you got to learn your limit. For me, being in a house with my aunts and my mom, who my mom would only let us drink, take a sip. She wouldn't let us drink, but my dad and his sisters, they used to let us drink, and it wasn't. And their theory was they ain't gonna drink but so much. You get what I'm
hmm,
saying? But it's gonna be good because they know their limit. So now, one thing my father never has to worry about, he knows for one thing for sure, 2 things for certain. I know my limit
yeah,
because he know he gonna be like, no, drink another one, drink another. I'm be like, no, I'm done. Oh, you done? Oh, okay, so
hmm,
you know when you done, right? Okay, so I expect you know when you done. Then I expect that there should not be a time that I ever hear that you was out drunk nowhere, silly, acting crazy,
Yep.
because you know your limit.
Hmm.
And that was a
yeah,
lesson that I didn't even know I was learning.
yeah. And some parents use that approach. Like, I'm
mm,
just gonna let them feel it. I'm gonna
Hmm.
let them feel it for a little bit, and
We
rather
had a,
have.
I had another interesting. I don't want to put anybody out there, but there was a person in my life that took me to a dessert bar when I like some. It was probably like a year after, or I think when I got my full license, because it's a certain time where you could only go from school and stuff like that, and I think you have to be in a house by 12 or something like that, unless you're going to work. Blah blah blah. But there was a certain person that they let me get a few drinks. I wasn't drunk, but I had drinks, and they hey, you driving home, and it was just like what the what? And it was like, can you drive home? And it was like, yeah, I think so. Let me see you park. Okay, well, let me see you this. Let me see you this now. How did that feel? I was scared. Exactly. Don't do it.
Mm.
I remember.
So,
Sorry, go ahead.
no, that was it.
I remember back in the day. Well, Dave and Herb, you remember Third Street used to be popping.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Rockwell, Sharks, whatever they all became. Anyway, these are all bars and clubs, Shaughnessy. And I remember there was a couple bars that people were doing body shots off of women. Was like, I never got involved in that because I thought that was kind of like what, but there was a couple times when a couple of the clubs had like dancing contests on top of the bars for the women. And this one particular time, I did it, and guys were just, I didn't take off my clothes or anything. I had some cute little, you know, ripped up short jean shorts on and a cute little shirt. And, guys were just throwing dollar bills. I was like, oh, cool, cool. Well, it wasn't so cool when my Italian boyfriend came in and saw me on the bar. I
Mm.
was like, yeah, but I'm winning a t shirt for you. He was like,
Mm.
get off that bar. What are you doing?
Mm. Mm. Mm.
And then when I went to New York City when I was, I don't know, 20 something, me and my friend, we went to New York City. That was actually fun. I didn't have nobody to tell me that I couldn't do what I wanted to do. And I got up on that bar and I had on my little burgundy suede skirt on. And
So that
anyway,
started an era.
that was the only two times I did it that I remember. But it was fun that time in New York City because I was single. Single. And I had fun because I didn't have to worry about nothing. I mean, we weren't driving. My friends were there. Nobody else knew us, so it was fun.
And then, and that's yeah, you did a lot. You have to experience certain things, whatever. And
Hmm.
then when you get older and you look back at it, like, damn, I can't believe I did that.
I
But
wouldn't do that now. I
mm,
don't think, unless I
only,
had another midlife crisis.
mm,
Oh, that's another one, a midlife crisis. People never talk about that. It's actually it's a real thing.
yeah, it
People don't
happens.
talk about it. Just like they don't talk about premenopause and menopause, which really sucks for women because at my age I'm in premenopause and it really sucks that I wasn't ever educated about it. I didn't expect it this soon. I was like, what the hell? Why am I sweating at night? Like, what's going on? My mom was like, oh, it's just your hormones. I'm like, Mom, I'm not that. I'm only 47 years old. She's like, yeah, it's your hormones. It's premenopause. Then my doctor confirmed it. And then he confirmed a couple months ago that I was closer to menopause. I'm like, what the hell? Probably all partly due to my heart attack a couple years ago.
No, it usually sets in about 50.
Well, my grandma had my mom when she was like 42, the same age I
Mm-hmm.
had my heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
So the women in my family didn't start this early, like in their young 40s. They didn't start that early. So I didn't know. Like, do they talk about it in high school? No. We weren't
Heck
taught.
no.
No. And it's something that they should educate both men and women on in high school. Like the different phases of life that women go through.
Why do men need to know about it though?
Why don't you? Women need to know how you guys have to put on the condom the right way.
Yes, but menopause is a unique succession of the life cycle for women, at least in part. It doesn't affect a man's life that much,
Well,
especially if he's not married.
no. If you have a girlfriend or a family member that is a female, you don't want to understand what's going on with
Doesn't
your
benefit me.
girlfriend,
I can't make any money from it.
you should be aware.
I can't
I
make any
think,
money from it.
I don't care. You can't.
No, I'm just letting you know from a masculine perspective. I don't make any money from it.
You don't make any money from it, so you don't want to learn about women's menopause.
Doesn't benefit me.
But you know when I'm getting my period.
Not really.
Yes, you do.
No, I'll pay attention to it.
Okay.
I know when it should happen, but
Huh?
I'll pay attention. I know when it should happen, but I'll pay attention to it.
You know when it's happening?
Yes.
Or is that one of the things that when you're older, you don't pay attention to it as much as when you're younger and you're like, shit, ain't it your time of the month or something like that? And you're worried about
Bingo.
possibly she being pregnant or whatever the case is.
Yep.
It may be different. At this
Yep.
age, you're like, shit, I don't know about that.
Why is women having and babies older that's still menstruating?
For me, it's not a concern, personally speaking, because I don't. Simply put, I don't deal with it.
I mean,
Not,
What you
but
mean you
not
don't
this.
deal with it?
okay, but Herb, you and
Go
I
ahead.
are friends, right?
Mhm.
Okay, say you and I are friends. Say we're
Mhm.
like best friends.
Mhm.
And I'm like, damn, dude, I'm getting night sweats. I'm like this, that. Don't you want to know what I'm going through? Like, yeah, it's menopause. Just
That
like
shit would
you're like, Anita, you're breaking out, you're getting your period.
Right, or you're acting crazy, or now all of a sudden you want a milkshake, or I
Yeah,
don't
your
know.
hormones are all over the place. You're in premenopause. You're in menopause. Whatever, Herbert.
yeah.
You say
You
I'm
know,
crazy.
no, seriously. Like, seriously. What man is going to sign up to listen to that?
I
That's
mean,
a
but
man
I think out of common
that's
courtesy, as
that's knee
my
deep in it.
friend or my boyfriend or husband, they should be aware. They shouldn't be totally
Right,
oblivious to
especially
it.
if you right, especially you if you into it, and technically when a lot of women go through menopause, they lose elasticity and wetness. So with that being
Hmm.
said, you will want to be interested in whether you need to bust out the KY jelly or not.
Mm.
Yep, or the androgel or the Prem Pro. Like I might need to go to the doctor to get a prescription of Prem Pro, androgel. I mean,
Yep.
get the
Uh,
suppositories that make you a little bit more
Herb keeps shaking his
lubricated.
head, saying negative.
What, Herbert?
You gonna want to know if you've been doing it to your lady with the same little peen for 10 years, why all of a sudden it hurt because it's not as elastic anymore.
You see,
You
I
gonna
don't think
wonder
you get.
why it's
I don't.
dry.
I don't. I
Not
don't.
that
I don't.
I'm not
I
attracted
don't.
to you no more.
I don't think you guys quite understand that I'll be 52 in a month. Y'all talking about double digit years of being with somebody. That ain't gonna happen.
It don't matter. Double
Hold on,
digit
hold on,
years of.
hold on,
I
hold on,
could
hold
be
on,
with
hold on,
you for
hold on, hold
3,
on,
4, 5, 6 months, Herbert.
hold
Don't you
Yeah,
on,
you
want to
don't know
know
when the
why
change is gonna
I'm
come.
not?
Yeah.
hold on. And if by some odd motherfucking occurrence I'm dealing with a female that's menstruating, they done kidnapped and replaced me. I've said it once again. I'll say it. I've said it before. I'll say it once again. I do not deal with women who can't conceive. I don't know
Okay.
how many times I got. I don't know how many times I got to make that plain to
Do
y'all.
you
Oh,
know there are
I don't give a
tests
damn.
at hold on. Do you know there's tests at Wegmans that can test your little swimmers to see if they're still effective or not?
You didn't hear me. I'll
You
say it
didn't hear
once.
me. I heard what you said. I got two
So,
ears.
so
God gave
why
me
does that?
two
So
ears.
why does that matter?
Because because research shows between the ages of 30 and 45 for a male, your swimmers decrease in effectiveness.
Once again, you didn't hear me.
I heard what you said.
You couldn't have.
I heard what you said. I'm saying, I'm talking about the other side of the coin. Just because she menstruates don't mean you can have an effective swimmer.
You didn't hear me.
I heard you.
You couldn't have, because you said just because she menstruates. When I clearly said I don't deal with them.
Okay, just because she menstruates doesn't mean she can get pregnant.
You're not grasping the concept.
I'm grasping.
No, clearly you're not.
No, clearly I am.
No,
I promise you I am.
No.
So for me, I still get my cycle.
Okay.
For me, medically, I cannot conceive, but I still get my cycle.
Okay.
So there are women out there that still get their cycle that cannot conceive.
That is correct.
And for you are going to be.
Yeah. Now you're starting to put everything together.
You're going to be 52. Mm-hmm. So your chances of impregnating somebody are what, 0.1 or 0.000%?
I don't deal with women who can't conceive. If she's menstruating, there's a very good chance that she probably can't conceive.
That she can?
Yes.
Not if she can't medically can't.
I said there's probably, not positively.
Well, why don't you just go get snipped and then you don't have to worry about it. You can just do it how.
See, now you project.
David, wake up.
Now you project.
Whatever. I'm looking at my phone. Whatever. Whoa.
Now you are projecting. When I said what I don't do, I don't have to because I'm me.
Okay. Got it, Herbert. Yo, your name from the bottom of the stairs. Herbert, can you help me? Are you close? Are you close? Can you help me?
Yeah, it seemed, Anita, you was trying to push your narrative on Herbert, and he put it out there that he don't deal with certain women that go through that. So
I mean, I ain't trying to hook up with Herbert anyway. I'm just
that's not what he was saying. He's saying you trying to push the narrative.
I ain't talking to you, Herbert. I'm talking to Dave right now. Okay. What I'm saying is I was just trying to give a different perspective.
Why are you trying to give a different perspective on a man that's giving you his perspective?
Because I want to give my perspective too.
But his stuff was already laid down, like cut and dry.
Okay, well, if he has that perspective, maybe there's other men out here that can't think outside the box unless they hear another perspective. So there.
Hold on. Let me make it plain to the listening audience. I know more about menopause, perimenopause than most men. Why? Because I've had a subscription to Cosmo back when I was in my mid-20s. So all this shit that y'all talking about is old hack to me. It's not new. I just choose not to deal with it. Happy?
Nah.
Happy?
No. Women are never happy.
No,
damn. Could you say that again?
What?
You know I'm gonna freaking quote that or snip that. Women are never happy, huh?
You didn't let me finish. I coughed. I was coughing.
Yeah, okay.
Women are never happy unless we have a chocolate covered banana.
We ain't touching that one.
Wait a minute. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. A banana milkshake from GQ. Because they use real bananas.
Boy, the more you keep talking, the more you just be opening yourself up.
Okay.
Might want to fall back.
Counselor's Corner after dark.
Yeah. No more after dark.
That is what it's turning into.
No more D germs in my house. It's free and clear.
Forgot about that. That
D
that
germs.
era, that time frame. The D germs. Well,
Oh wait, we forgot about another thing. Brazilian waxes.
Is that a rite of passage though?
It sure
Yeah, I don't think
is.
so.
It's a transition. Yes. It's a
Mm.
transition.
I'm thinking
Okay.
more like
It's
weddings and stuff like
separation,
that.
a transition, and it is a rite of passage because you have to be a certain age to get Brazilian waxed. And who wants to be shaving down there and accidentally nick the wrong part?
Ooh, and then
Much
you can't do nothing with it. You was right.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And my
Well, I,
gynecologist said that it's better to get it waxed than to shave
why did it say that?
because you can get folliculitis and ingrown hairs. And when you wax, it's different, but you have to wait like 24 to 48 hours for your hair follicles, your pores to fully close before you
No.
What if a man likes it bushy?
well then
Yeah.
you better find a woman that wants that lifestyle.
I'm just
They're out there.
saying.
I
Yeah,
know they're
yeah,
out there.
I'll say
yeah.
that much.
I'm just,
I ain't one, but they're out there.
I'm just
So
saying.
I'm just saying. I just feel like it. I just feel dirty and
But that goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the hygiene aspect.
what were we talking about?
When young girls first start menstruating, cleanliness, what goes into it? How do you maintain pH balance? All of that stuff is conversations that you would hope that a mother has with her daughter. Now, in the absence of the mother not having that information, who does that daughter turn to? So this is why it becomes vital, you know, for young girls to have that information. You know, what happens when you, and this is, I'm going to give away next show's topic prematurely. This is what happens when you have too many partners.
What?
It ruins the woman's pH. Yeah,
Too
you
many
know.
partners at the same time? What?
Well, I don't know. You can have too many partners at the same time. But if you want to tell me something, I'm listening. Just
No, I'm asking like what do you mean?
too many partners for a female, especially if she's not wearing protection, will throw off her pH.
Throughout life? Is that what you think?
It's not a thought. Ask your
That's true.
OBGYN. Ask your OBGYN. Like I said, I had a subscription to Cosmo. You're not talking to a man that don't
Cosmo
know nothing.
ain't always right, but
You got a
I'm
board certified nurse sitting there telling you.
I'm asking like say I've been with 500 men in my life. You mean those 500 men are going to change my pH?
500 million stuff trash.
Huh? What?
Nothing.
I haven't been with 500 men. I'm just like using that as an extreme example.
Yes.
I mean, I know like
Semen in a vagina changes the pH.
I know that part. I know
So,
that part.
so
But he's saying if you know that part, and if you have excessive amount of men doing it, then what's the dispute?
There's no dispute. I'm trying to understand like throughout the years because I know like if
yes,
I have sex with one
yes,
guy tonight, and another guy
Yes,
tomorrow that's definitely throwing off my pH balance.
yes,
So technically, it doesn't even matter. You could have sex with one guy tonight and not have sex with another guy in the last year or the last month, and it still throw off your pH, and you
yes.
still
Right.
end up with BV. Some people's vaginas are sensitive than more sensitive than others, but you are right. Yes, you could be with 500 men and have a vagina still, and nothing happened. You could be with 500. You could be with two, and you'd be messed up. It all
Hmm.
depends. Everybody is different. That's like some women, they could wash with Victoria's Secrets, they could wash with whatever's under the sun, and they'd be fine. You have other women, as soon as a Victoria's Secret or something that's not natural or something like that, touch their cooch. It's yeast city.
Yeah,
So
that's
And
right.
like I said, these are the conversations that most women don't have with their daughters. So when it does happen, who do they consult? You can't always get in to see your OBGYN.
You what?
yes, you can.
Oh, okay. I stand corrected.
I didn't hear what you heard. You said.
No, I was.
He said you can't always get in to see a GYN, and I said yes, you can. And not only that, believe it or not, you can go to patient first. If you itching or if you stink, you go right to
You can
patient
go to
first.
what?
Patient first.
What's
provided that.
patient first?
I was just
Urgent
going to
care.
say provided that
Oh,
those are available in the particular area that the female
So is
lives in.
yeah, any urgent care center you can go to. If you are stinking or itching, you can go to
or
that.
the ER.
What if she's in a rural location?
The ER.
You can go to the ER too. But
But
I would hope you would rather
that's
go
one
to
of the
urgent
things we were
care
talking
than
about.
the ER.
All a lot of this stuff is predicated on culture,
Or
And
Planned
education.
Parenthood.
location,
Yep, Planned
economics.
Parenthood. That's
A
very
lot of this
true.
stuff. Planned Parenthood is only. I don't know if y'all taken a good look, but Planned Parenthood is only in certain neighborhoods. You get out there.
Clinics, regardless.
Hmm.
There's an abortion clinic in every neighborhood.
So,
Oh,
so when you say if you stink, that pretty much you'll say that women know when they stink. Like they know when they delivering a foul odor. Like, this shit ain't right. I need to get it
Yes,
fixed. Huh?
yes, yes,
So what
yes.
else speaks to it? Why so much the denial?
Embarrassment?
I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
all women I don't think all women do. No. Or I don't think all women realize when
You smell yourself before anybody else smells you.
ooh, touch that one.
you're right. No, you're right, but
Ooh.
I'm being serious because I knew this female that she had a problem and she did not it was like she thought it was her normal smell. It
Oh,
was her normal, but actually wasn't.
whew.
Normal. She had no real friends.
And that's true. And I think and that's part of the issue in this day and age that it's not no
I
real
mean, she
friends.
was
Real
very,
friends tell
very,
you.
very young. Very young. Like fifth grade-ish young.
She talking fifth
So how
grade.
her parents don't smell her?
Yeah, that's on a different level. The
Yeah.
fifth grade, the parent is involved with that. We're talking about adulthood.
Well, I mean, still a female.
That's a young girl who has no concept of anything in terms of
And still
why or why not.
there's still young women and women that still don't realize they some women don't realize they're musty down there. I've
But
had to
but that
do
was but that was the point that we were saying when when your mother hasn't instructed you about certain things.
I've had to do um be a proctor for many urine tests in the army, and it was gross. Just, but
And
I have hyperosmia, so my sense of smell is very sensitive. But still, I'm like, if you know you have a urinalysis in the morning, you can't like like at least wipe yourself with a wipey or something? I mean, for real. I gotta stand there and watch you pee, smelling your stank at 4 o'clock
That's
in the morning.
what you signed up for.
I mean, I guess as a sergeant, they paid me well enough. Not really, but
Woo.
really, some females just don't get it.
Hey, I'll take your word for it.
Well,
Woo.
any other things that stand out? Body piercings and different things like that.
See, a
One of the things,
quinceanera.
and tattoos and different things that people may view as a rites of passage. To me, I hate to see a young girl or a young lady, young girl going up and they freaking ear like I got all these piercings all the way to the top of the ear. That's just too much. I think.
I said a quinceanera. You
I
know,
don't know what the hell you're talking about.
when Hispanic females turn 16, was it 13 or
15.
16?
It's 15. Quinceañera.
15? Yeah,
Quince.
yeah. That's a cultural rite of passage.
But with the body piercing or
No,
tattoos.
no. What Shaughnessy said that she can say better than I can say. Tell him, Shaughnessy. The quinceanera.
Quinceañera.
But you still
The
haven't told us what it is.
Yeah.
You're telling us
oh,
what.
It's like a big extravagant party for a female when she turns how old? 15?
yes, 15. 15th birthday. The Spanish female.
Oh.
And it marks her passage from girlhood to womanhood.
Okay.
Yeah. And then for other American females, it's sweet 16 birthday.
Right.
It's like a big deal.
Yeah. And then and everything in this day and age is magnified. So people proms and sweet 16s and all that stuff
That's right.
because the
Because I'm a big
spotlight is more on you. And even birthdays and people, 30, turn 40, turn 50, 60, 70, or
because those are
whatever.
milestones. Those are rites of passage.
Yeah.
Live to pay
Those are
taxes another year.
milestones. Hmm.
So that means you live to pay taxes another year.
So,
Unless you go off grid, know how to live from the land and still get your check tax free.
I don't know how you do that.
Don't you have to do what?
It's an army
they
thing. It's a military
no.
thing.
There's something that they doing. They making themselves something.
Going off grid, living off the land, but you still
Yeah,
get a
what
bank
is
account.
it's called something, and they file all this paperwork, and it take them years to do, and I don't know. I can't think of it.
Well, with me,
I know a lot of African Americans are doing it. I'll say that.
my disability from the military is tax free, so I could go off grid and live off the land, and nobody will know where I'm at.
that's what you're going to do?
I might one day.
Hmm.
I don't know. Doomsday is coming. I need to learn how to can food real quick. I need to learn how to can food, conserve water, clean the water. I need some chlorine tablets, everything. they're trying to import recipes to incorporate insects into our food, which means they're cutting back our meat production. It's a whole lot of stuff going on that people don't even realize, that they try to make it look good and it's not. As little by little, we're getting brainwashed and we don't even know.
Yeah, we lived through some crazy stuff going on.
Rapture's coming, the Great Tribulation, everything, Doomsday, the famine, Third World War.
Too much. Too much.
They don't even, they're in Europe, no, in Europe or Great Britain, somewhere, they want to limit how many times people can fly in their lifetime, or how many hours that flight can be. It was all on Glenn Beck a couple weeks ago. I watch Glenn Beck podcast on Wednesday nights on YouTube. It's crazy stuff. And so the only people that are really going to have free range and free access to do what they want is the elites, because they have enough money to have private planes, private jets to do what they want to do. So they're limiting our freedom, and so they can, yeah.
That is what it is.
Cry,
Yeah.
cry.
All right, gang. We about to get up out of here tonight. No need to belabor the point. Like I always say, all this stuff come back twofold anyway. So it'll circle back around. These same situations, as we customary do. Gonna leave out with some closing comments and get up out of here and push on to tomorrow. Who would like to go first?
I will.
Herbert!
Rites of passage, they exist, but for a very particular reason. It is to denote the beginning of adulthood, or what we would like to call adulthood, and the end of childhood. It's like the Bible said, when I was a child, I did childish things. When I became a man, I put away childish things. But some of us, we chronologically have reached adulthood, but we still operate in adolescence. So for them, a rites of passage doesn't really exist. They're just existing, as I like to say, in the cytoplasm. They'll never, they'll never make it there. So with that said, as I always like to close, growth and understanding occurs in the gray area. Godspeed. See you next time.
In the gray area, it is gray sweatpants season, isn't it?
Mm-mm.
Don't put that on TikTok.
You never know. I might.
Okay, but I have a real closing comment. So I was reading earlier. So Herbert, I sent you a link for an anthropology. I took
Yeah.
that. Remember, I was talking about anthropology earlier. Anyway, I
Mhm.
sent you a link for what I was. I don't know. Anyway, so I was reading something. Let me see. My notes are chicken scratch right now. Oh, okay. So rites of passage are important because they remind us of the past while encouraging us to move forward to the next phase of our life. Examples are culture that influence how we behave and help keep society stable. That's what I read about rites of passage. I think that was in my anthropology course.
Okay. And for me, rites of passage, like you said, it's a transition. It's a period of whether it's a celebration. Sometimes it may not be anything to celebrate, but it's an emphasis on learning and growing. And again, we always talk about being uncomfortable. It's a transition phase. So you have to take and do what you need to do as far as that. Like, we can all have the same similar situations, like the proms and a death in the family, birthdays, and driving cars, and whatever the case is, but it don't always end up the same.
Look,
So it's based on how you kind of put it all together. And like I said, we can all have the same pieces, but our puzzles may come out different in the end. So take it, relish it, enjoy it, and move forward. And that's all we can do with any of this. And it's always an evolving thing, the rites of passage. So, and that was our point of bringing this content or subject matter to kind of go back, think about certain things, because oftentimes you hear in the counselor's corner or period in real life, not that that's not real life, but sometimes people be faking uh, that the past has nothing to do. A lot of times people say, I don't want to know anything about the past. And you'll be a fool not to. What do you think happens in education when they look at a student? They go back to the past. Let me go back and look at their records from the past to see what they're capable of doing. Same thing in relationships, your work history. They want to find out stuff from the past or whatever the case, so that you can move forward. If you got a bad track record in everything you suspect, you're gonna be at risk. So people always, sometimes you need this data, or you need to talk about it to try to rectify it and to move forward. So with that said, we out. We still haven't came up with no theme of the week for the counselor's corner, and it may be nilly willy this week, and then we come back with a theme next time, next
I'm
week.
in,
But
I'm in dog mom rites of passage right now. Say hi, bud.
dog got
Hi.
dog got some big eyes, look like a teddy bear or something. Okay,
Oh, there's my teddy bear up there.
okay. All right, good people. We
All
out.
right, people.
On to the next one. Everybody be safe, be well. See you next time. Peace.
Peace and
Peace.
chicken grease.